As I've said and written so many times, Cars is my favorite Pixar movie, and I'm still one of the few who believe that Cars 2, the International Racing Tour Spy Caper sequel, is a highly entertaining film. Now comes Cars 3, which is actually the Cars 2 everyone thought they wanted. This movie is all, and I mean all, racing. There are no detours or sidetracks in this latest cinematic treatment of the aging athlete theme. The once dominant Lightning McQueen is no longer the top car on the Piston Cup circuit. A new generation of young hotshots, led by the smack-talking Jackson Storm, rumored to be named after yours truly, have taken over the sport. After a brutal injury in the final race of the season, the visuals and sound effects are very intense, McQueen decides he wants to continue racing. But he knows that in order to beat Storm, he's got to start training like him, which means using the latest technology and training methods, including working with a bubbly personal trainer named Cruz Ramirez, who has dreams of her own. McQueen also has a new boss, Mr. Sterling, who bought the Rusty's race team with an eye on making tons of money off the McQueen brand by selling loads of Mick merchandise if and when Lightning decides to retire, which he'd rather see happen sooner than later. Soon, McQueen realizes that if he's gonna beat the young guns, he's gonna have to go old school. Problem is, without his late crew chief Doc Hudson, Lightning is lost. Fortunately, Hudson's former coach, a pickup truck named Smokey, a terrific new character voiced by Chris Cooper, steps in to lend some much-needed wisdom and guidance. And now, you may be wondering, what about Mater, Sally, Ramon, Flo, Sarge, and the rest of the popular Radiator Springs gang? Well, they're hardly in Cars 3, shelved away to make room for these new, highly talky characters who make up the new supporting cast. Mater, arguably the breakout star of the franchise, is so insignificant this time, he actually has fewer lines than the racing commentators. And his best buddy relationship with McQueen, who's in practically every scene, is non-existent. And this is a part of what's wrong with Cars 3. The element of fun, such a huge part of 1 and 2, is completely missing. An attempt to get some goofy laughs comes in a demolition derby sequence. However, that scene actually derails the flow of the narrative. And it's still racing related. I kept wishing for something, a single diversion in the script to break up all the racing talk, training, and on-track action, but it never comes. Chick Hicks, Lightning's old rival, returns to the series, now as a sports talk show host, and he delivers a few clever lines. Michael Keaton, who voiced Hicks in the original, is conspicuously absent. Cars 3 is the weakest entry in the Cars trilogy, but it still has much to offer. McQueen and Ramirez develop a nice unromantic relationship. The Doc Hudson Flashbacks, the Pixar team used old voice booth audio from the late Paul Newman to give the character new dialogue. They give this film the emotional punch that's always been a core element of this franchise, whether Pixar fans have noticed it or not. You do have to give director Brian Fee, making his directorial debut, and the writing team credit for their accuracy and the attention to detail with all the aspects of the racing world, including the addition of a new female sports analyst. The orchestral music enhances the tone in the most sophisticated, meaningful ways, and the final act does go in a couple of unexpected, satisfying directions. Should Cars 3 mark the finish line for this saga? Well, Pixar learned from their Toy Story 3 experience that you should never slam the brakes on a money-making franchise too soon. But make no mistake, and I never thought I'd say this, the needle on the Cars series is just about on E. On the official LCJ report card, Cars 3 gets a B. I'm Lights Camera Jackson. For all of my reviews, go to lights-camera-jackson.com and follow me on Twitter at LCJ Reviews.